It's time for another tale from the glass-guarded world, with Brian as Paxton the human cleric and fighter, Danielle as Athelflaed the halfling rogue and monk, Ashley as Tara Deyns the human fighter, Chris as Aster Fortuna the half-elf rogue and bard, and me, Mike, as the DM. The party has landed in Arrival and is headed to Tara's family home. The Deyn family produces high-quality metalwork and exports it around the world, and this has made them wealthy. Before they can reach the Deyn Manor, however, the party is passing through the central square in the middle of the city of Arrival, where the soul jar has stood for at least 2,000 years. It was there when the first people of the world awoke, lying on the canvas tarps above the city. The soul of every person who dies is sucked into this giant glass container, unless that soul is diverted somehow, as is the case for Egbert, the soul in Athelflaed's dagger. According to the truths of the dead god Foresight, the best way to save the world is to destroy this soul jar. Unfortunately, while on their way through the area, Tara discovers that the jar has an honor guard consisting of an old acquaintance of hers from her youth and Arrival, and she's not eager to talk to him. Standing proudly next to this jar, along with his handsome band, is your good friend Medu Siwa, the other merchant family fellow with his beautiful mane of hair, and he's standing proud next to the soul jar.
Hey Tara, it's your friend.
Yeah, Athelflaed.
Ooh, one of your friends. That's exciting.
Oh, not both of you.
Now, Aster, you've never met him before.
No, that's fine. I'm excited.
So,
Paxton shakes his head.
Now, they haven't seen you yet. Paxton, as you get closer, it becomes clear that your amulet is pointing towards one of his men.
What does describe the man that it's pointing towards?
So, he's wearing armor, fairly heavy. So he's wearing scale mail, and he's got a large hammer in one hand. And he's got a shield and a helm on, and it's kind of hard to make out much more than that. He's actually got a pretty nice white cloak on.
So, in this world, clerics, I think, are kind of rare, or they're more rare.
That's right.
Would there be kind of like a cleric stereotype? Like, would I recognize him if...
He could be a cleric.
Okay.
Yeah, he could be a cleric.
Okay.
This kind of interrupts my plans.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, are you going to lay low? Are you going to ride up to the jar? What's the plan?
Yeah, is there a different side of the jar that I can approach from?
He's on one side. His men are sort of scattered around it, but you could ride around to the side that he's not on.
Yep.
All right.
Are we not going to say hello?
No.
Oh, okay. Ooh.
All right.
Is it a past boyfriend? Is that what it is?
Yeah, and I just don't want him to meet you, Aster.
Oh, my joy.
All right, so you move around the south side of the jar, and although Medu seems to be very much into attracting the attention of the women who are walking by the jar, the rest of his crew is much more alert, and they are watching everybody that goes by, including your group, and one of them does take note of you, Tara, but doesn't do anything.
Okay.
The one who takes notice of you is the one who is known as Hurtkos, the bear, and yeah, he is watching you closely as you move by.
Great. He sounds respectful. I'm going to get off the cart and approach.
Oh, you approach Hurtkos?
Yeah.
All right. He stands there with his arms crossed, and he nods at you.
I nod at him. I motion to the jar and say I'm here to pay respects to a friend that we lost.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
A man of many words.
Mm-hmm.
Delightful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I go up to the jar to pay respects to my friend.
All right. He's keeping an eye on you, but
he looks terrifying. Frankly, he looks like just a wall of muscle with a big scary beard that he doesn't pay any attention to. And he's not wearing a lot of armor, but he just looks like you wouldn't want to mess with him.
Okay. I'm getting as close to the jar as I can.
You can walk right up to it.
And do I see anything? Is it just mist? Do I see faces? Do I see...
No, you don't see any faces or features. Occasionally you can see a little swirl, but otherwise it's just a solid gray mass. You've heard that in the past when there were fewer souls inside, you could make out shapes more clearly, but now it's just a big gray, just solid wall of color. Wall of gray.
Do I feel any way? Do I feel anger and rage or peace or...
That's up to you. How do you feel?
I really just want to feel like what we want to do is going to be okay, and that we're not going to like release a bunch of angry souls in the world. But I do feel like we talked to Finn after he died, and he seemed like he was fine. He talked like he was okay. And
Make a perception check.
yeah. 18.
You can feel a very slight vibrating coming from the weapon at your waist.
Okay.
Chainbreaker.
Gotcha. Well, I will note that, but I'm not going to just bust out in the square right now. That it's not Tara's idea of subtle.
I walk up beside Tara and I say to that scary looking guy, they were my friend too. And I take take off my glove and I put it on the soul jar wall to see if I feel anything.
Okay. You don't feel anything. It feels like glass.
Okay.
What side is the glowing runes on?
They're all around the top and the bottom. They're just encircle the whole thing.
In my travels, do they look any more... I mean, I know I'm sure I've seen them all my life, but do they look any more familiar or anything to me?
No, they look completely nonsensical. No one's ever been able to figure out exactly what they mean. They're not in any known language. They seem like nonsense.
Would I recognize any of them calling from Dunstan's knowledge?
You have seen them. You've seen pictures in a book that he's shown you before. So you have seen a picture of a drawing of the soul jar, but they don't have any meaning to you.
Oh, okay. Do I remember the context of that presentation?
Yeah, you remember at some point Dunstan told you what he knew about the soul jar, which was pretty much the stuff that everybody else now knows. So you don't have any special knowledge, and he didn't have any particular knowledge of what these runes were for. I mean, it's assumed that they have something to do with keeping these souls inside, but or with sucking souls into it, but nothing more than that is known. In fact, as you stand there, every once in a while, you can see a little gray wisp sort of goes flying by and then is sucked into the top of the jar, and sometimes there'll be a little swirl of movement inside, and then everything returns to just being solid.
Okay. I'm gonna go up to Bear.
Okay.
High honor, my friend. What is the occasion? Oh, does he ever speak from my knowledge of him?
You've never heard him speak anything more than grunts.
Oh, I ask him...
But you haven't ever really talked to him. When you've been around Maydew before, Maydew does all the talking.
Yes, I believe that. Will you and Maydew be joining the militia to deal with the Iron Empire surrounding the island? Do you have independent actions, or do you just follow Maydew?
He jerks his head toward Maydew.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Well, okay, that's great. I don't know. I can't get anything from that.
He may do that. He may not do that.
Oh, man. Oh.
Maybe we should find a different friend. Just, let's not talk to Maydew, okay?
All right, you're lucky. Maydew has not noticed you yet. All right, well, he nods at you,
Okay.
adjusts his belt with his great sword at his waist.
I use my message cantrip to send a message to Aster saying, "Hey, bud, maybe the way that we distract these guys is maybe you fight Maydew for Terra's honor."
So I was actually gonna. I have the same cantrip. I message back. I message, hey, and he totally misread what Tara said.
Right.
Instead of it being like sarcastic.
Right.
He took it literally,
Of course.
and he was like,
Hey, you know what I think is going on here? I think that Tara secretly likes me, and that she doesn't want Maydew to see me because he's going to get jealous. Oh my god, the drama is building!
I think you're exactly right.
Oh dear. All right, so
Should I do something? Should I go talk to Maydew?
Not yet, not yet. Let's keep that trick up your sleeve for now.
I think it's a solid plan.
well, they're speaking telepathically,
Yeah.
so unfortunately you cannot hear their
And just say
Brilliant
that randomly in the square.
All right, so what's the plan?
I'm gonna try and talk to one of the other people.
All right, so the rest of his crew, there's also the Wolf. Another one of his crew members is known as the Wolf, who's a ranger. And then there's a guy named Diaware, who is a war priest. And then there's Magan, a sorcerer. And they're all extremely handsome, except for Hurtkos. Hurtkos is an ugly man. But the rest of them are very handsome. The next nearest to you, without going around on the side that Maydew is on, is Megan, the sorcerer. And he's wearing some green robes, and he's got an amulet around his neck, and he's got sort of a fancy hat on with feathers coming off of it.
Does he look ludicrous?
No, he looks a little bit like a dandy, but not quite ludicrous.
Okay.
Pushing the edge, but not quite to ludicrous.
Gotcha. We're gonna go with the same, pretty much. This is a great honor. What's the occasion?
Oh, well, we came back from the Miss Deyn?
Hey.
Well, does Maydew know you're here?
No, I'm just gonna surprise him later.
Really? Oh.
Anyway, so why are y'all here?
Oh, well, of course we came back from our trading mission with a great success. And so we're being honored for all the business we brought to the island. And of course the family, the Seawolf family is so famous. We have a turn every once in a while. I think, in fact, it was your turn recently, but you weren't here, so you didn't get to take your turn at the jar. But I'm sure you had other important things to do. But shouldn't I go tell Maydew you're here? He'd really want to talk to you.
No, I think this would be much better if it's a surprise.
Maybe I shouldn't tell you this. I should let him tell you.
Oh no, go please tell me.
Well, I have to say, he was really quite torn up when he heard about Finn's death. He said some unkind things the last time he saw you, and he always takes those as jokes, but when he heard that Finn had died, he felt terrible. He wanted to apologize to you, but he just hasn't had the chance. No one knew where you were, and where have you been?
In the Magistracy.
Oh, all right. Well, he'll really want to talk to you. You really ought to see him when you get a chance. He's just around the corner.
I didn't know that he had that level of empathy, so thank you.
Well, it's hard to get to that level of empathy with him, but in this particular circumstance, I think that he was able to summon some empathy.
Okay. Well, thank you. Have you heard anything about the blockade around the city and what we're
course.
planning to do? Are you guys going to join the militia or anything?
Well, we'll fight if necessary. None of us are, we're the handsome five. Well, handsome four. There are four of us that are handsome, and five of us in total, and we're not afraid to fight. We're quite effective. We had some exciting adventures in the Magistracy as well. I'm sure you had some, right? Right. So we're not afraid to fight, but right now it hasn't come to that yet. We're really hoping that we can find another way around this problem. We're looking into maybe some form of teleportation, or perhaps maybe there's some way under the water. But we're looking into options.
I get the feeling they're afraid to fight.
Our rivals not so much into warfare.
Yeah, just Tara.
Sure, right. But there's more of a trading nation, less of a fighting nation.
Oh, okay. Well, okay.
Well, I wish you a good day, and please do talk to Maydew when you get a chance.
Okay. Thank you. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. It's a great honor. Tara finishes talking to this guy. What do you guys want to do?
Before we leave, I want to kind of stand on the other side of the cart from wherever this cleric guy is.
Uh huh.
And the message cantrip says that it has a 120 foot range, but it doesn't have to be a straight line.
That's right.
So I can message with a person without them necessarily seeing me.
Right.
So I want to send a message to the cleric and say, "Are you a cleric?"
Okay. The cleric, who had been sort of standing, looking a little bored, suddenly jerks his head and looks around, and doesn't say anything. Can he reply?
Yeah. The target of the message cantrip can reply and only in a whisper that only I can hear.
All right. Well, he it does not occur to him to whisper. He just shouts out loud, "What? Who said that? What?
I asked if you were a cleric.
Who wants to know? Who's it? What's going on?" He looks a little panicky.
Just answer the question.
Why should I? What's going on?
What's
Maydu,
your- What's
come
your
over here.
name?
And he calls Maydu over to him.
I stopped trying to talk to him.
Okay. Well, he and Maydu engage in a conversation, and Maydu seems to think maybe he's going crazy. You gather that his name is Diawar, the war priest. But Maydu dismisses his concerns, and he looks a little paranoid now. He's looking around all over the place.
He's not going to be able to help you.
Okay, he starts communicating in his head, and he says, "Who is this? Who is this talking to me?"
Don't worry about that.
"I'm Diawar the war priest. Who are you?
I'm a friend.
And what do you want?"
I just wanted to know if you're a cleric. It's pretty rare to see.
"Yes."
And that's it. I don't say anything else.
Well, he talks for a bit longer. Who is this? What? Where are you? And I guess you leave, or what's the plan?
I just watch him.
I ask why Dior?
Diawar, who are you talking to?
Them.
Oh, your group?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't know. You ask your group if why is Diawar acting crazy? Why is Diawar acting crazy, and what do you guys say?
I don't know. That whole group seems kind of crazy to me.
I say sometimes when I practice my acting, I do this thing where I'll talk to myself like if there's another person in the room to practice my skills. Maybe he's just practicing for a show or something.
That's kind of believable.
I have no excuses for my behavior.
Well, let's get to the house. I can't wait to let y'all meet my parents.
You head to the Oynuskiv, the old residential district where the Deyn family is. And as you head toward this area, Aster, you've rarely been in this area, at least on legitimate business. And the houses here are large. They go all the way up to the canvas tarps.
I have a question. Backtracking. Do I know how long, when someone is honored to guard the soul jar, how long they guard it?
No longer than an 8-hour shift, although they may do that for several days. They may take a morning shift for several days.
Okay. And this is a morning shift?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Are we near the changing of the guard?
No.
Okay.
It's early enough in the morning that they probably went on duty recently.
I think that might be something that we should scope out, because maybe the changing of the guard would be a good time for a distraction.
Maybe we could convince these honorable guards to let us smash it. You seem to have history with them.
I don't think that anyone's going to be readily convinced to smash the jar.
I would.
Well, us not included.
You're a special case, Athelflaed.
You head up to this expensive district. The houses here are so tall they reach all the way up to the tarps. Some of them are made out of just beautiful stone construction. Some of them have brought in skilled stone workers from all over the world. Some of them are made out of wood. They're just gorgeous works of architecture, and they get grander as you and older as you move down the street. And as you approach the Deyn household, Tara, everything looks fine. The house appears to be in good shape. You can see that there's a wall around the outer courtyard, and it appears fine. You can see the trees that were always there are growing up out of it. The tree that you and Finn used to hang out and play around is there. The front gate is there. There are some guards standing by it as usual.
Okay. I'm glad. I approach the gate.
All right, you approach the gate, and the two guards there that look a little bit relaxed You don't know these two guards, but that's not unusual. There's turnover, and and as you approach, they both stand at attention, and they say, "Yes, can we help you?"
I'm Deyn.
They look at each other in shock. You are. I've seen the picture. Welcome back. Please come in. We'll take care of your cart and your horses for you. Go right through. Your family's inside.
This is Bud and Bart. Please treat them well.
Of course. Of course, we wouldn't do anything else. Please, and your friends are welcome. Please go right in.
Okay. Thank you. Nice to meet you both. What are your names?
Their names are Fern and Bromley.
It's a pleasure to meet you both. Thank you.
Pleasure is all ours, ma'am. We're so excited you're back. Everyone will be so happy. There'll probably be a party. That's great. I hope we don't know no one knows what your mission was, but I hope it was successful. Hopefully we'll talk to you again soon. You're just as friendly as everyone said you'd be. So they open the gates for you, and they lead off Bud. One of them leads off Bud and Bart. The other one stands by the door and shuts it behind you. You enter the courtyard. It's beautiful. The landscaping is flawless. There is a gorgeous wood and stone building. It looks comfortable and friendly. There is behind the building, outside the wall, to the south of the building, is a large warehouse-looking building, and you can see some smoke coming from a chimney out of it, and you can hear distantly the sound of hammers hitting metal and wood, and you can hear all sorts of noises coming from it. It's normal. You know that there's a workshop and a production facility in the building behind your house, which the neighbors aren't always happy about, but it's always part of how the Deyns have done business. They like to keep things close to home when they can. And there is a smaller house out attached to the wall behind the main house, and you know that is Finn's family's house. And his parents live there, as well as his older sister, Leela Cast Spinner. So his parents are there, or at least that's where they live. You don't know if they're there right now. What do you want to do?
Probably go into my house.
All right, you go up to your house. The door is, of course, unguarded on the inside. There's a bell to ring, or there's a knocker as well.
I kind of turn to everyone and I'm pointing out stuff, and I say, maybe a big party would be a good distraction.
That sounds fun. I could provide entertainment.
I don't think we would be at the party for very long. We would have to leave for it to be a distraction.
Oh.
Sorry.
Can I be scoping things out, like looking at fancy things they have? Just
Oh, sure. I mean, there's not a lot of valuable stuff in their garden, but there's probably valuable stuff in the house. This is a fancy house.
I'm not gonna steal anything, but Aster is just like
he can't help it.
And I whisper to Athelflaed, Athelflaed, I've been in this area before, once or twice, for trading. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm going to knock on the door.
You knock on the door. You can hear footsteps on the tiled floor inside. The door slowly opens, and you can see the tall half-orc butler, Howie. And he opens the door and says, "Yes, Mademoiselle Deyn, you're home. Welcome home. Please come in. Are these your friends?"
Yeah, and I introduce Athelflaed and Paxton and Aster.
"Yes, it is a great pleasure to meet you. Please come in."
Everyone, this is Howie.
Hey, Howie.
Howdy, Howie.
"Greetings. Please, can I get you some refreshments?"
Yeah, I could use some iced tea.
"I suppose I can find some tea for you. Let me see what I can do. Ice, I'm not sure about, but I'll make sure it's cool. Anyone else need anything?"
Oh, I'm okay.
I'll take what he's having.
"Miss Deyn, your mother is probably in the study looking over the books as usual, and your father is, I think, back in the warehouse and production facility with Mr. Castlepoker. If you'd like to see either of them. I'm not sure where Finn's mother was. I'm terribly sorry about your friend Finn. We were all heartbroken."
Yeah, I'm only sorry that I couldn't be here when he came home.
We were all hoping, I think your parents will want maybe some more explanation of what happened, his parents as well."
I nod, understanding.
"Please, of course, this is your home. Go do what you like." Now, the entry chamber here, the foyer, is not huge. It's comfortable. The floors are fantastic marble tiles. The walls are stone. The ceiling has some carefully sculpted plaster tiles. There are paintings and sculptures around the room, and there are doors leading to other parts of the house. You can see a grandiose marble staircase at the back leading up to the next floor. It is just opulent.
I ask Howie if he can find some accommodations for my friends.
Of course, madam, of course. I will immediately get on it, and I will make them comfortable in the south wing. Is the south wing all right with you?
Yes.
Wonderful. Shall I show them to their rooms now?
I look at them.
Sure.
Okay.
We could
Shall
do
I
that.
tell your mother that you're here?
I'll go see her myself.
All right, then.
Thank you.
Well, the butler takes the three of you to the south wing and shows you to some very comfortable rooms that are well appointed with large beds and running water. Each has its own private bathroom and mirrors, glass mirrors, as well as smaller handheld silver mirrors. It is just the lap of luxury. Tara, you know where the study is. You head straight there?
Yes.
All right. Well, you open the door to the study, and you can see your mother is where you usually see her. She's really the smarts behind the business. She's the brains behind the business. She is looking over all the books and making sure that everything adds up the way it's supposed to. And she does not react as the door opens behind her, and she's looking at the paperwork.
I say good morning.
She says, "Good morning." But who is that? And she turns around, and she jumps up and runs and gives you a hug.
Yeah, I give my mom a hug.
She saves against crying. She manages to keep it bottled up, but she is clearly very happy to see you. And she says, "Tara, where have you been? You were gone so much longer than we expected. What? I need to know everything. Where have you been? What happened? What did you find? What are you doing? What are you doing next? What? I need to know everything. Should I call for your father?"
Oh, hold on. Everything is a long story. I definitely want to talk to you. I definitely want to talk to Finn's parents. And but I want to say hi to Dad. But I don't know that I can just give you everything right now.
Well, that's fine. We'll have a seat, and shall I call everyone here?
Well, I brought some friends. Right now, they're being shown to their rooms. And I want to bring them around too, and introduce you.
That's fine. Let me finish up these books, and why don't you go and you can tell Howie that we could all meet in the East Library. How's that?
That sounds great. Thank you.
All right. Well, I'll meet in the East Library. I'll have some refreshments brought.
It's nice to see you, Mom.
Oh, I'm so happy you're home. You're okay, right?
Yeah, I'm more than okay.
She's looking you over now, and she says, "You've got scars and things you didn't used to have. Are you all right?"
Yeah, I'm okay. They'll fade. They're just recent.
All right.
It was hard to get into town, you know.
Yes, that must be a story in its own. Well, okay, I'll finish this up, and we'll all meet you in the East Library.
Okay.
You all make your way to the East Library eventually.
Is the dad gonna be there too?
Yeah.
As when we get there and we're starting to enter,
Uh-huh.
I want to be playing the guitar,
Okay.
and the music that I want to be playing it's kind of similar to the wedding music
Oh, dear.
that
no.
plays, but not the same.
Okay.
Like, I'm changing a few notes, but I'm trying to make it sound.
Even Appleflat's gonna know this is awkward.
Before I leave my room, since I know that Finn's family is around here, I want to take his Scholars Pack, and I want to put his Arcane Focus and his Amulet from the Keepers of Arcane Knowledge in that Scholars Pack, and I want to keep that kind of aside, because I think Finn's family might get something out of those things.
Of course. All right. Well, you all converge on the library, the East Library, which is quite large. It's walls of books and scrolls and maps, and it's beautiful, all hand-carved wood, and comfortable couches and chairs and desks. The butler has set up some candles and torches and also opened a window, a high window in the wall to light the room. There is a tray of snacks and drinks, and you and your friends enter first. And then shortly after that, for the rest of you who haven't seen Tara's mother, she enters a little while later with Tara's father. Tara's mother is a very put-together, organized-looking lady wearing a smart-looking dress, and her husband looks a little bit less put together, but nonetheless very dignified. They're an older couple, and shortly after that, a pair of very short gnomes comes into the room, and just immediately afterward, actually, they both look a lot like Finn, and they enter the room, and they're all so excited to see Tara, they actually kind of ignore the rest of you for the moment. They don't even notice the awkward music. And they immediately converge on Tara. Tara gets a big round of hugs. Everyone wants to know, where have you been? What have you found?
I enthusiastically give everyone hugs and say hi and how much I miss them. And then I kind of like usher my friends in and introduce everyone.
All right. Well, yeah, introduce us. I don't. Do you want to do the introductions?
Okay. So this is Paxton. Finn and I met him in the Free Cities in Denton. So we met him in Denton, and then this is Athelflaed. After Paxton helped guide us through the Free Cities, we met Athelflaed at a monastery. Yes, we met Athelflaed at a monastery, and she agreed to come with us, and then this is Aster.
I play a little giddy. And then I spin the guitar.
We met him somewhere.
Well, I brought him in after we had a trading excursion.
Yeah, we met him somewhere normal, not prison.
Oh, well,
normal business. Normal business.
Tara's parents look impressed. Trading, you say?
Oh, yes. I dabble in all kinds of trading.
Excellent.
We're
traders ourselves, you know.
I see.
Ooh. All right.
Aster is more of a small, specific kind of class of trader.
Items that fall off the back of a boat.
They don't look like they caught on to that. Do you want to introduce the family as well, or should I just list everyone?
I mean, I introduced them as my mom and my dad, and then as this is Finn's father, Mr. Castlepoker, and this is his mom, and she took care of us when we were little, Matilda
Dringspinner, and Finn Dangler Castlepoker.
Yeah,
they're all very happy to see you, but it's very clear that Mr. Castlepoker and Miss Dringspinner are hoping that you'll fill them in on some details of what happened. So the question really is, we don't have to go through everything, but the question is, how much do you want to tell them?
So they all know where we went and what our goal was, right?
They all know, yes, and just to remind the listeners, they all know that you had not really been sent, but you had decided to try to figure out why the river had broken, and if anyone knew more about it than was already known on arrival.
So we, I'll sit down with them and I'll tell them kind of like about a path and where we went and what happened to Finn. And
are you telling them about the doppelgangers?
Yeah, I'll tell them that part because I feel like they deserve to know exactly what killed their son. And I will not be telling them about the Iron Empire or go into that other bubble or my plans in the future.
They're held wrapped to your story. It's a very exciting story. I would like you to roll a deception check.
Okay. That's a 9.
Most of them seem to buy it. Matilda Dringspinner looks like she's a little skeptical, like maybe she suspects you're leaving some things out. But other than that, they're very excited to hear your story, and they want to know, what are you planning to do now that you're back?
Well, with the other river breaking, the God's River is broken, and now I heard the Hilt River breaking, and I was worried about home, and so I came home as soon as I could to check on everything and see what I could do to help here.
Well, dear, we're so glad you're home, and if there's anything we can do to make your return everything you hoped it would be, let us know. Now, of course, these are difficult times with the embargo, but we're so glad to have you here. We've got to have some kind of party, of course.
Oh, yeah.
And your friends are all invited. And we'll invite the other families. Is there anyone else you'd like to invite? Or is there anywhere, would you like to have it anywhere in particular? You can have it here, of course.
I'm trying to think of where would be a good place to have it if I was to use it as a distraction. What would I know?
Well, it depends. Do you want it as far away from the soul jar as possible? Or do you want it to be relatively close so you can get to the soul jar quickly? Or what's the plan?
Oh, well, I want to be able to get there quickly. And I want to be able to hold a lot of people. And also, I want them to be able to defend themselves if we turn out to be having like some terrible thing happen.
Okay. Well, you know that one of the banks near the soul jar has a just gigantic lobby. They call it a lobby. It's really just a giant cavernous space that people rent out for parties. Mm-hmm. And you could use that as a space.
So defensible, but also like really close, and people would definitely just run out and see us doing that.
It's not right on the square, but it is nearby. Okay. So they wouldn't be able to see the soul jar from there, but it is pretty close.
And if we were to have it at home, how quick would it be for us to get there?
It's by horse or walking, it's probably 20 to 30 minutes.
Okay, so not too bad.
Right.
And I don't know how fast souls move.
No. You know that those specters you fought before were 60 feet around, if they're specters.
They were 60 feet around?
Yeah, 60 feet every 6 seconds.
Oh, okay. I was like, that's really big.
No, 60 feet per round. Sorry.
Okay. Ooh.
Yeah, 60 feet in circumference.
Yeah. I was like, wow, I did not realize.
I didn't make that clear. I'm sorry. I suppose you'll spend the rest of the day filling in your family and spending time with them and sharing meals with your guests and plotting exactly how you're going to pull this off. So we'll leave off there with your group trying to plan how you're going to do this. What do we call it? It's not really a break-in. It's just a break.
Kind of feel like it's going to involve some deception.
Yeah.
Ocean's 4.
Yeah.
Disguise and deception.
So before we leave that party, though, I did want to talk to Finn's mom.
Okay.
And give her his stuff.
Okay. She gratefully accepts the materials and says, "Did you know Finn well?"
I didn't know him for long, but I'd like to think that we were close friends in the time we had together.
All right. Well, her father walks over and says, "Hi. How you doing?"
Howdy.
Hi. I'm Finn Dangler Castle Poker. These look like Finn's things.
They are indeed.
Well, thank you for bringing them back.
Yeah, I thought they might have special meaning for you. Something to remember him by.
Well, we really appreciate Matilda and I really appreciate that. Yes, we do. It's so kind of you to bring that over to us. Yeah, well, it's really kind of you. What's your name again?
My name's Paxton.
Oh, Paxton, it's really great to meet you. It's very kind of you. You and your friends seem real nice. We're really glad that you met up with Tara. I know it must have been difficult for you, too.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah, I wish that there was something I could have done.
Well, we know you must have done everything you could. Well, we go visit Finn in the Soul Jar at least once a week. Of course, there's nothing to really visit there, but it makes us feel better.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's been nice talking to you.
Anyone else want to say or ask anything?
I tell Terrace, I go, "Sir, you have a wonderful daughter. Strong, good with a sword, and beautiful to boot."
Yes, she's great, isn't she? Yeah, she doesn't really take after me. I was never really good with the sword, but she's great. She's probably not going into the family business, but that's all right. We're not at all disappointed with that. It's great. She's going to forge her own path, and we'll make sure that with all the money that we built up from the years of hard, slow work, that she'll be fine no matter what path she chooses, even if it is a path that involves, fighting a lot. I'm sure she'll be successful.
Of course she will, and like I said, I heard you're in the trading business. We could show her a few things.
Really?
About trade.
Really? You're that successful?
Well,
I mean, we tried to show her a lot, and she's really never taken to it.
Well, I'm an exciting man, and I think I could sway her heart with some trading.
I scratch my head.
He is totally not catching on. And he says, "Well, that sounds generous of you. I'm sure she'll take whatever knowledge you give and absorb it to the best of her ability. She's always tried really hard at learning. She's learned really well with the sword. Have you noticed that? You've seen her fight, right?"
Oh my God, it's like she's cutting butter through the air.
Yes, exactly. She's very talented with that sword. Despite everything we tried to stop. Well, I mean, she's really good with it.
Yes, she must have learned how to be precise because of you, sir.
Again, I had nothing to do with her training with weapons. It was not my idea.
Oh, no, but I'm sure you're very precise with your calculations and the trading, and that's where she gets it.
Right, of course. That's probably it. You're right.
Well, have a good day.
You too. I'm
I
so
do a
glad
little
to meet you.
spin. Walk away.
Tara, your father walks up to you and says, "That Astor fellow's very interesting. He's really into trading, huh?"
Yes. Almost as much as singing.
I like him. He's an interesting style. Is he an elf? A half elf?
I think he's a half elf.
Interesting man. You know, I like him. I think your mother probably would like him too if she got to know him. Have you ever thought? Well, it's too early to talk about that. I'll be just glad you're home.
Thanks. I look worried.
Oh, when they find out what trading means.
Oh God.
All right, well, you spend the afternoon in pleasant conversation. They give you the tour of the house and of the production facility. The Finn Dangler and Henty is her father. They're very proud of their facility where they've got an army of gnomes working hard, producing things and producing machines that produce things. They've got a facility that makes metal equipment and tools, and it's really impressive. In the evening, you have time to yourselves to plot and plan, so we'll leave it there with you trying to figure out what you're going to do next.